Hello and welcome to today's mini masterclass. The title is Red Flags. What are they and why are they bad for your relationship? I'm so glad that you're here. Before we start, I'd like to remind you that there is a mini guide accompanying this training. So if you haven't got one yet, then remember to type guide in the comments and I will send you one so that you can work through it at your own pace. My name is Tracy Kimberg. I'm a relationship expert and I help couples thrive in their relationships with each other and with themselves. So let's have a deeper look into this thing called red flags. And I'm going to explain to you what happens when you don't address red flags. If you look at this cycle that I have illustrated in this slide, you will notice that we start with triggering behavior. Now, triggering behavior is something that you might sense early on in the relationship, but because you are desperate for the relationship to work and you might really like the person, feel attracted to them with sexual chemistry, then you ignore this behavior. But the behavior worsens if you ignore it. And when that happens, you start feeling a deep sense of anxiety, conflict within yourself, and of course, the self-doubt starts nagging at you, where you doubt yourself, you doubt the relationship. When the behavior carries on, the continued triggering carries on, which of course affects you and the relationship. And before you know it, the relationship starts eroding and breaking down. And you as a person as well becomes very deflated and unsure of the situation. So what exactly is a red flag? A red flag is something that you experience within yourself with one of your five senses that does not align with your values and goals. I'm going to give you a couple of examples of some red flags. Jealousy and lack of trust. Love bombing. Love bombing is when very early on in the relationship, the person that you meet is overloading you with gifts, money, expensive experiences, and promising you expensive things. Playing house. Playing house is when the person that you have that you've met very early on in their relationship promises you a silver lining around the cloud of your relationship, like a chariot in the waiting, promising you that you're going to be buying a huge house together, that they will, for instance, be buying new cars when you are moving into your new house, and just painting this glorious picture of wealth and worldly things. Ego overload. Ego overload is very, very easy to detect because the person often describes themselves as this amazing being, very intelligent, very wealthy, very successful, and they often look down at people and treat people as if they are below them, specifically, for instance, at a restaurant or in a shop setup. You would notice that they would speak very disrespectful to those people working. Chameleon behavior is another quite easily detected red flag, which is when the person kind of is completely different than what you know them in a personal setting, when they are in a group with your friends or with their friends. They behave like a complete different person that you often stand back and think, who is this? This is a stranger to me, and that is often a red flag. Criticism is when the person criticizes you, criticizes how you do things, how you look, tells you that you should do everything their way, and tells you that you should be doing things differently than what you are, and maybe picking on your weaknesses. For instance, if you have a fear of something, they will laugh at you and joke about it. And this is when you say banter, which goes a bit too far. This is a serious red flag. And then lastly is control. Now, control is a very serious red flag. If you notice that the person with you is trying to control either your finances, your social life with your friends and your family, how you dress, how you have to behave, what you are allowed to say, what you aren't allowed to say in front of other people, then this is a serious red flag. So, what are the consequences when you have these red flags in your relationship? The consequences that you can detect within yourself is confusion. Often you feel this deep sense of confusion, like you start feeling confused about what the hell is going on here, and are you imagining things or aren't you? The doubt about yourself, you start questioning your own decisions, you start questioning your partner, and you also start questioning the relationship. The anxiety is a clear sign because you feel anxious around the person. You feel anxious when you know they're coming home after work, and you feel anxious when you know that you're going to be in a social setting because you find their embarrassing behavior unbearable to handle. Isolation means that exactly because of the anxiety that you feel when you are in a social setting with this person, that you actually avoid going out with them. So you end up rather staying at home. And of course, the isolation actually also comes when they control you from seeing your friends and your family. Avoidance. Avoidance is when you notice that you are avoiding behaving like your true self, when you're avoiding standing up for yourself, when you are actually avoiding your own values just to please this person. Submission is when you just do exactly what they say because you want to avoid, once again, having an argument or making them annoyed. And you find that you are actually submitting to everything that they say just to make them happy. Often you feel like you are trapped in a relationship when this carries on, and that you wonder if there's ever going to be an escape, and you also start thinking that there is no escape. And of course, lastly is fear. You start fearing, how are you going to escape? Are you ever going to be able to break away from this? Is this ever going to change? And often when the behavior is really bad, um, there are people that actually fear leaving the relationship because they fear the consequences from their partner. So what can you do when you notice these red flags? The first thing is make sure that you know your own values and your goals, and reassure yourself that they are true to you. Trust your intuition. If you feel that something isn't right, it probably isn't. So trust yourself. Communicate your triggers to your partner. And how you do this is you tell your partner that their behavior is triggering you in a way of maybe making you feel disrespected, making you feel anxious, and ask them not to do this behavior. If they continue this behavior, that is a serious red flag. Set clear boundaries about your values and your beliefs, and make that clear to your partner. And of course, if this doesn't work, then you need to find help from a professional, someone like me, or you can find someone through your GP, or speak to a friend or a family member. So I'd like to share a case study with you with about one of my clients. Her name is Madison, and Madison was someone that was unfortunately stuck in a habit of choosing the wrong partner and ignoring the red flags. So when she came to see me, she was in her third relationship that had failed, and as a result of these red flags that she didn't detect, which had broken her down, and she had completely lost herself confidence, lost the faith in herself, and she didn't trust herself anymore to actually choose anybody or date. So we worked on her self-confidence, and she completed my Courage Within program, and I could see her blossoming as she really reconnected with her values and who she was as a person. Um, we did this by the value self-assessment, which was very, very helpful to her to actually remember what made her happy, where she wanted to be in the future, and what she needed from a partner was very important. And then, lastly, we took her through the Ready, Steady, Date program, which was absolutely extraordinary to see her prepare herself and get ready to get back on the dating game, and to let herself feel confident to find her partner again. So she took a break from dating after her program until she felt confident enough. And then I think it was 6 weeks later, she went back on the dating websites and found her partner by using her special program that we had developed with her in the Ready Steady Date program, and now she is with a lovely partner, and they've been together for 18 months, very, very happy, and she's able to notice any red flags as they come up and manage them accordingly. So let's have a recap of this training quickly, and we'll start off with what is a red flag. Remember, a red flag is jealousy or lack of trust, love bombing, playing house, ego overload, chameleon behavior, criticism, and control. And what it causes is this confusion, doubt, anxiety, isolation, avoidance, submission, the feeling of being trapped, and fear. And what you can do to overcome these red flags and manage them sufficiently is to know your own values and goals, trust your intuition, communicate your triggers to your partner, set clear boundaries, and if nothing works, then find the help you deserve. So that brings us to the end of this mini training. If you are in a relationship that isn't working out, or you are continuously in relationships that don't work out because of these red flags, if you are not able to notice the red flags early on in your relationships, and if you are unsure about your own values and goals and what you need in a relationship to know that it's the right person, then please get in touch. Let's have a chat. I'd love to help you find the person that you deserve. My name is Tracy Kimberg. Thanks for listening.